Oh yeah, and the flex mode is updated. Everything adapts so that you can control your entire phone using just the lower half. All of this stuff is cool. It makes the most of what the phone is, but none of it really explains why the phone even exists in the first place. Why is it that people keep paying this premium to compromise on specs for a phone that takes up basically the same volume? According to Samsung, 70% of the customers buying foldable phones are choosing this flip style over the technically higher-end fold style. Are they crazy? Well, no. I would say there's 5 key things that make this flip as surprisingly appealing as it is. First, and the most obvious, is the style. I'm not going to lie to you, this is fun. Flicking it open for something important, snapping it shut to end a call. There's a big part of it that feels almost toy-like, and it's such a unique prospect that if you like it, there's a good chance you're going to love it. And thankfully, while the cameras are one of those things that you will have to forgive, because there's no way you can fit a modern large camera sensor into the depth of one of these halves, they do also benefit from the ability to fold, in that you can use the same set of pretty good cameras for both the rear and the front. Whereas with the Z Flip, you're getting a 7 on both, with full 4K 60 frame per second video, plus the ability to use the base as a sort of baked-in stand to prop the phone up at whatever angle you want. But it's the mindfulness that this phone can give you that is what really interests me. The fact that you can just keep the phone folded up and you know that you're reachable but still distanced from your distractions is, for me, a game changer. And so I really like that here, even though the cover screen is now more capable and can do a lot of technically full screen phone things, Samsung's done this with an understanding that the objective is not just to make the front screen like the inner screen. Because, I mean, if they were the same thing, then what would be the point in unfolding it? So instead, what you can do here is decide on the inside which apps you want to allow yourself access to on the outside. This is brilliant. Do you know how a lot of people like to have 2 separate phones, one for work, one for pleasure? This one flip phone is kind of like having both of those, but folded into one. It creates this really distinct separation between a device that is simple and functional and not distracting when folded up, to a device that, when you finish your work and you just want to chill out, is expansive and enjoyable and indulgent. I like the fact that when someone calls while you're in this folded position, it'll automatically go to loudspeaker, which really suits this whole hands-off vibe, and that if you want to silence it, you don't even need to pick the phone up. You just place your hand on top, kind of like suffocating it. The battery also benefits from this being a flip phone. I mean, it sounds bad on the face of it. This is a 3,700 mAh cell in a market full of phones packing 5,000. But thanks to efficiency improvements, you can get an extra hour versus last year's Flip 4. And if you are actually planning to use a good mix of both the inner screen and the outer screen, then because the outer screen is so small, you'll save a lot of battery there. And finally, there is the compactness, which, as I've already said, I think is a little overrated. I mean, the volume difference between this and, say, this is negligible. But there is one distinct benefit to being short and stubby like this: women's clothing. Just how little depth there is in women's jeans and women's workout leggings. So it fixes that.